This is the Be a Hero Gaming channel where we talk about all things gaming and how you can be a hero in your real lives as well as in your games. Today, we're going to be talking about SAS Rogue Regiment, which I did an unboxing video for this a little bit ago, and we played this game a couple of times, and this game is quickly becoming one of my favorite games of all time. I never thought I would have a list of favorite games, and maybe I'll put one together at some point, but if I do, this game is going to be on it for sure because of how fun it is to play and how it is a sandbox of possibilities that you could play forever. I backed this game on Kickstarter, and I went back and forth about should I back all the expansions or just the main game. And I got spooked. At the time, I was backing a ton of Kickstarters, and I kind of started to freak out about how many Kickstarters I was backing and became overwhelmed, and I only backed the base game. Luckily, you can still buy the expansions for this game, and I think I'm going to go get them because this game is just unbelievably cool. But before we get into that, I just want to talk a little bit about, so this game is based in World War II. It's kind of like the era of this game. And military personnel train themselves physically and mentally so that they can be successful on the field of battle. Now, most likely, unless you're in the armed forces, you will not have to go into battle. That's probably not going to happen to most of us. But you will have to enter the battle of life. And so think about things that you can do to train yourself to be more effective in your life. And again, that's one of the things I really want to stress on this channel is I hope when we play games, we're thinking about heroic things that we could do in the games. And then when we put the game away, we think about what can we do heroically in our real lives. And the more you can prepare yourself, the more you can train, whether it's for your job or being an effective parent or spouse or a citizen in your community, the more effective you will be. And still, you're going to come across situations where you're not going to know what to do, and all those things are going to give you experience. And so think about, again, when you're on the field of battle in life and you come to a situation where you don't know what to do, instead of getting stressed out, think about the experience and the strength that you're going to gain from that experience to make you more effective next time something like that happens. Or you can train somebody else how to do it. But anyway, I hope you're thinking about that as we talk about this game, because that's kind of what this is. It's a military-based game, like I said, based in World War II. And I understand, I didn't read all about it, but I understand that some of these characters are based off of real-life people. So pretty cool that they're kind of, I guess, heroes during World War II that did totally awesome things is what they're basing some of these character names off of. Pretty cool. I just want to give you a brief rundown of how the game is played and then talk about a few things why I think the game is so awesome. Okay, so first of all, you have these map tiles you set up here, and the first couple of scenarios, they're just trying to get you accustomed to the characters and the things that they can do. The very first, this is the second scenario we set up. We actually lost this one, so we set it back up to do it again. The first scenario, we have Jock here who needs to rescue Anders. Anders has been captured, and he has to rescue him. Well, now that he's freed him, we had no problem getting him, breaking him out of the house he was kept hostage in. We freed him. Now the two of us are got to kind of run through this camp here. And I don't know if they're trying to escape onto the next scenario or what, but we're hiding behind these bushes right here. And how do you play the game? Well, so first of all, they had this really cool reference guide here that shows you right here the stealth sequence. Now, the stealth sequence is if nobody knows you're there. Once the alarm has been sounded, people know you're there, all the soldiers are coming after you, you go to the battle section. Okay, so operator phase, you're going to get a chance to take some actions. The Axis advance phase, this is only if someone is alerted to your presence. If nobody knows you're here, you skip this. The event phase, you turn over one of these cards over here, and I'll show you that in just a second. And the Axis patrol phase, all the Axis members will go about their patrol routes here. And then Axis attack phase, if anybody has their sights on you, they'll attack. And then you kind of do a cleanup phase at the end. And if they're in the battle section, they know you're here, they basically just skip the patrol phase because they're not patrolling anymore, they know you're there, and they're all coming after you. Now, these are the things that you can do on your turn. Okay, you can move a square for, I will mention, you get 4 action points for each operative to move about the map and to take your actions. 4 actions, and these are what each action costs here. So for 1 action point, you can move a square, or you can sprint for 2 action points and move 3 squares, so a little bit extra movement. But if you're 1 square away from someone, they will hear you sprinting. So you have to be careful. You have to make sure you're away from people when you sprint. You can climb if you have a grappling hook, which Jock does over here, one of his special items that he has. You can climb with a grappling hook. You can attack with 1 action point, move an attack, which I think is really cool. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I'm 1 square away and I could get to him, but I can't attack. So I think that's so cool. They put the move and attack as 1 action point. Take aim will give you a bonus to your attack here. You can see aimed attack gives you +2 on your roll. So you can spend an action point to take aim to get a little better chance of hitting your target. Marking the target is a really cool thing. You take this little target marker off of your thing here, and you can mark anybody on the board. And so say I want to mark this guy, and so in the axis phase, he might turn to face us, and we could take a shot at him when he does that. So he's marked, meaning if he moves or threatens to discover us, you can take a shot at him. Okay, so maybe if you don't really have a lot of actions left to do and you want to mark a target that has a potential of discovering you, you can do that to take him out. Blind fire, if you're shooting over a wall, you don't know who you're shooting at, you're just shooting over a wall. But you can see here, if you do blind fire, you get -2 to your roll. So you're basically just taking some shots over the wall and hopefully you hit somebody. You can pick things up for 0 action points, and you can place them for 1. And now this becomes critical because as the access members get taken down here, you replace their marker with a dead guy marker. Okay, maybe you can't see that. Let me show you that up close here. So you replace this axis marker with this guy here that shows he's been taken down. And you got to hide the body so the other guys will find him and think something's amiss. So you can throw the body on your shoulder here. It goes over your carry slot over there. And when you move up next to any forest square, you can dump them in the water and they immediately disappear. Or you can stick them in the forest and they will disappear at the end of the round, or you can toss them in an empty house, and at the end of the round they'll go away. Most of the time we find we just throw guys in the trees, and that gets rid of them off the board so that the access members don't find them. So that's the important thing about picking up and placing. We haven't come across it yet, but I'm assuming you can do this with items too. Actually, there's fuel barrels. I think in future scenarios you can pick up, move somewhere else, shoot them, they'll explode. Really cool, really thematic types of things you can do here. Recover, you can heal a hit point for 3 action points. Break cover is a strange action, and as far as I understand, it's only to attract the enemy to you if they're on one of your buddies or something. Basically, you're alerting the enemy to your presence, and they come after you. And the only reason I would understand that you would do that is if you're trying to get them away from another guy who wasn't doing very well. So I'll just give you a brief rundown on all these things that you can do here, and then I'll, again, talk about why the game is so cool. So the operator phase. So again, the bush, you have to climb it, so it's going to take a couple action points to climb the bush. And the thing that's really cool about these player boards is, there's a couple of tokens on here, I don't want to knock them off there, but the player boards are very simple, but there's a lot going on here. So again, I get a couple grenade tokens. I can put those here and use the grenade action here. The Lucky Rabbit's Foot is one of Jock's special items that allows him to change a dice roll to a 6 once per scenario. So we can hang on to that just in case. Here's his health marker over here. Once you heal, if you're damaged, you can't go above 4. That's what this arrow means here. Once you heal, that's as high as you can go. Your gun this is what you need to roll to hit, 5+. So that's why you want to take aim to get a better chance of hitting. Short distance is 4 squares away. Long distance is 8 squares. If there is an enemy 6 squares away, he will hear you. Shoot the gun, which again, they would hear probably all the way across here, but they had to make some kind of rule for the game. The grenade can be used up to 6 squares away, and you only have 2 of them. So you can see here the ammunition here is unlimited. Here you only have 2 grenades. And if you use the grenade, it's an instant alarm sound. Okay, there's no more being stealthy once you've sounded the alarm. And one thing I love about this game is I love tactical games where you're kind of sneaking around, trying not to be discovered by the enemy, planning on where to go, what to do. Anders here has a scuba tank. I don't know if you can see that on him. So Anders can head off over here towards the water. And once he gets in the water, he replaces his token with this one here. And now he's in the water, scuba diving across where nobody can see him. And he can pop up out of the water and use his harpoon gun. And then he's back in the water. Really, really cool element to Anders over there and special abilities that he has. And then again, with Jock, he's got the rabbit's foot and the grappling hook so he can climb rocks. And there's some areas where there's high walls that are unbreachable unless you have a grappling hook. You can pop over the top of the wall. Very cool. So after the operator takes their actions, and let me just talk about a couple of really cool ones here. Shooting your gun. So here, and everything is measured orthogonally and diagonally. So you can move diagonal, you can measure diagonal. So for example, this soldier here is 1, 2, 3 spaces away. This one over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if we were to shoot this guy, these guys wouldn't hear because the gun is has a range of 6 for sound. And so these other guys, they're too far away to hear it. However, every time you shoot the gun, your stealth meter here goes down, okay? And you can start it on easy, normal, or hard, depending on how close you want to get to the alarm bell down there at the end. And as the game progresses, that alarm bell will move down the track every time you shoot a gun. There's also other event cards over here that might move it down. Once it reaches the alarm, all the soldiers are alerted to your presence and they all come after you. Okay, so you want to be as stealthy as you can. Oh, and on top of that, they get reinforcements over here from this area. And the reinforcements will come in here and they are more powerful than these guys are. So the reinforcements are trouble if they start coming in here. So you want to be as stealthy as you can, as long as you can, until you get towards the end of the scenario. Again, the first scenario was rescuing Anders here. This second scenario, we're just trying to get to this Jeep over here. Once we get to the Jeep, we escape. Now, I will say, this is made up of several boards here. And you can see here, if I move this, the boards do not come apart. And we noticed as we started playing, we would bump it and the boards would separate. These things would come flying off like, ah, man, don't bump the board. I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea, but what we ended up doing was we took a little bit of painter's tape and just put a little piece on the back of the boards on the seams here and on here to keep everything together. We put a little piece there, and so far it's done a great job. I did have to take a piece off at one point, and it fingers crossed, it didn't damage the boards at all. But I just put a little piece of painter's tape on there so that these boards would stay together. So every time you bumped it, the boards weren't coming apart, because this is made up of several map tiles here. So after you take your actions here, again, the shooting action, you can use your knife here. You see the knife hits on a 1+. Basically, the knife is unstoppable, but you have to be directly behind an enemy operative in order to use the knife. And so that's kind of what you're using at the beginning. You're sneaking around, using the knife to take out some of the enemy operatives and then throwing them in the bushes there so that nobody finds them. Now, after you're done taking your actions, moving around the board, strategically placing yourself, taking out a couple of bad guys, trying to get to the Jeep over here so you can make your escape. Once you've taken your 4 actions, that again, you can use either player, whichever player wants to go first, it doesn't matter. Once you're done with your 4 actions, you're going to move on to the Axis Advance phase. And again, this is only members of the Axis that are alerted to your presence. The thing that's really cool is you flip these guys over and there's a little, I don't know if you can see that there, there's a little exclamation mark, kind of like on Metal Gear, like da-dun, the guy knows you're there. That's a poor impersonation of that sound. But anyway, they're alerted to your presence. And then you can see now, so originally he's just kind of standing guard here. And then when he's alerted, he's got his rifle out and he's ready to go. Okay, and so, but right now they're just on patrol. They don't know anything's going on around here. They don't know a couple of British guys here are trying to get over to their Jeep over there. So there's no Axis Advance phase unless someone's alerted to your presence. Now the event phase, this is where things get really squirrely. So you have these cards over here that you will flip over. And when you're in the stealth mode, it's this side of the card. When the alarm's gone off, you use this side of the card. Okay, so you can see here, every time you flip over an event card in the middle of each round, during the stealth phase, you're going to do this. All of these sentries, you can see here these triangles are the points he looks at. These kind of guys like here and here and here, they're just standing guard, are going to rotate. Now, it's only the black ones, because you can see the black lines are on here. So this white line guy and the white triangle guy is not going to do anything, as well as this guy up here. He's not going to do anything because he's got the white markings on him. Only the black ones are going to move. So they are going to rotate clockwise 1 time to their next triangle. Okay, so this guy is going to rotate clockwise, so he'll rotate to this one. And if he were to rotate again, the next triangle is not facing in the trees, it's up here, so he'll rotate all the way around. Now, the reason why that gets tricky is because you sneak up behind a guy thinking you're safe, and all of a sudden all the sentries rotate and you get caught. Okay, that's one possibility. Another possibility is these guys here that are on these patrol lines might turn around. which is another time we've been caught before because, you know, you're sneaking up over here thinking you're getting behind this guy, and all of a sudden you draw the event card. This guy turns around and faces the other way, and bam, he flips over and he's found you. So you've got to be really careful where you move and where you place your guys, because the guys will flip around and catch you, and then it gets crazy. People are alerted to your presence. You get spotted. The alarm bell thing moves down at the end of the round. If there's people that know you there, that will get closer to the alarm. So the patrolman can flip around there. This means some reinforcements show up, okay? Even during again, most of the time during the alarm phase, it's reinforcements that are already alerted. But there's a couple of these cards in your reinforcements show up. They won't do anything, though, until the alarm sounded. So they'll just hang out over here near the truck until the alarm gets sounded. Again, the black sentries will rotate. The cigarette is awesome. So if you get the cigarette, that's actually a benefit because you get a cigarette token that you can place on your board here. And anytime you want, you can use that cigarette on an operative, and he's busy lighting a cigarette and he's not paying attention, and you can sneak past him. So he basically has no line of sight while you're going past him because he's busy lighting the cigarette. And I almost forgot to mention that. You can see here there are these dotted lines that give each operative and access member a 90-degree field of view. And they have to be facing one of the flat directions here. And so they basically have a 90-degree field of view here and here. And they also are able to see the two spaces next to them with their peripheral vision. But otherwise, they have a 90-degree field of view. You can crouch and hide behind walls. You can crouch in the forest to hide. Obviously, if you're in the water, they can't see you. If you're inside of a building, they can't see you. If you're crouched behind a window, they can't see you. If you're standing up, they'll see you through the window. The hardest part of this game is getting your head wrapped around the line of sight rules. When they can see you, when they can't see you. And we've made a couple mistakes. A couple turns later, we're like, oh, actually, this guy over here could have saw us. I didn't even think about that. And so it's taken us a little bit of time to get our head wrapped around the line of sight thing. But it's been a blast to figure it out and play with it. And once you kind of get that figured out, that's the most difficult part of the game, is the line of sight, being discovered, and what they do when you're discovered. Okay, but I watched the video online, the tutorial video, and then I read through the rule book, and we played, you know, a couple of times and kind of got it figured out. But that's the most difficult part of the game. The rest of the stuff is pretty straightforward. So that's kind of their field of view here. And so you just, as you're walking around, oh, and I will mention too, they can only see 8 squares away. Okay. So this guy here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 can only see to here. Okay. So once we come over here, if he were to turn this way, which he won't, he may see us. Okay, so the cigarette's nice because you can have a guy light a cigarette and he's not really paying attention, and you can run in front of him or behind him and he's not going to see you because he has no field of view while he's busy lighting a cigarette. So this is kind of a reprieve for you. This card moves the bell icon up 1 spot. So when you get this, it's getting closer to alarm. People are getting suspicious, knowing something's going on. Again, here the white sentries, or the white sentries here that are just standing guard with these different triangle points, will do a rotation counterclockwise, 1 position. Sometimes you get one of these, there's another bell, you get a bunch of those in a row, it's the worst. 2 rotations. So here the black sentries are going to rotate twice to this one and then whatever their next one is. So again, it gets tricky as you turn these over and people are rotating, turning directions, going different ways. You think you have everybody figured out, and then you pull one of these cards out and they switch positions. Now, after you've done that, you swap this between black 1 round and then white the next round. Okay? And what that means is each soldier on a patrol line will move his full distance, which is 4 spaces. Okay, so for example, if it was the black that was the face up over there, after you drew the event card, this soldier would move 1, 2, and he always turns to face the next line, 3, 4. Okay? And then that's where he is. And then you think, coming over here, oh, this guy's going to head off this direction. I'm safe. And you flip the card over and he turns around. And it's like, oh, man. When you place these, you can place them on either triangle, this one or this one, on either spot. So you can kind of plan out where you want the guys to start out, thinking where they're going to move ahead of time. But again, you think you got it all figured out. They flip around the other way and they go back the other way anyway. So, but you do get to choose which triangle on the patrol line they start. Again, you have the white patrol lines, the black patrol lines, and the cards will tell you if those guys rotate, and if not, again, you just alternate rounds between the black patrolman and the white patrolman. Okay, so that's what the event cards do here during the event phase, and then again, the patrol phase, they move along the patrol lines. Attack phase, if anybody is in a position to attack, they will, and then the end phase, you just kind of clean it up. Now, a couple of situations here is where if for some reason I have an operative over here thinking I'm all safe, and this guy comes around his patrol line, if he sees me, okay, again, he will flip to his alert status, and then my guy here will be replaced with the spotted operative, which has a little exclamation mark by it. It means he's been spotted. If you flip these over, it is their crouched position here. You can see the crouch icon on there, where you can crouch in the woods, crouch behind walls, crouch behind a window, so people can't see you. And you can still move and attack in a crouched position. Very cool. Okay, so then this will be alerted now. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Now he's alerted to my presence, and also he will shout to any operative 4 spaces away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's alert. 1, 2, 3, 4. This guy's alert. And now there's 2 more guys that know I'm there. And when it comes time for the access attack phase, they will flip around and they'll be like, hold it there, buddy, and they'll open fire on me. And that's a very bad position to be in because these guys get pretty good dice rolls. I think it's like a 3+, unless I'm hiding or just went behind some cover or something like that. But very cool tactical rules for you to move into cover, and then they get minus to their roll because now you've moved into the forest here where they can't see you as well. But there's a whole bunch of different things you can do that even if, again, when we play this scenario again, they'll be lost. I think it's going to be completely different the way we play. Completely different the way all the soldiers move, where we go, what we do, how the dice turn out. But the coolest thing about the game is the fact that you have all these map tiles that, so here you have like some kind of indoor dock or something. And there's a boat you can get on and take the boat around. So many cool things you can do. On each tile, it shows you where to put the enemies. And so you just, this one I don't think it has any, you'd have to make it up on this outdoor one. There's nothing on that one. But here, there's a patrol line here. There's a sentry right there. Let's flip it over here. Here, there's a sentry there. No patrol lines on this one. Okay, this guy's patrolling through the building, and you got a guy looking out the window here. But my point is you could take all these map tiles and create, I mean, you could put these together and make a road that you're traveling down. There's vehicles, there's like Jeeps and armored tanks and stuff that come after you that you can put guys in. And I mean, you could create any kind of map that you want to out of all these tiles, and it will show you right where to put the enemies. And maybe you could add a few more if you wanted some variety or something in there. So here's some more water stuff here. You could make this river even longer, like add to this river. I mean, there's so many different possibilities. And the cool thing is, like I said, they show you right where to put the enemies on the board. And so you wouldn't have to kind of come up with, well, let's see, is this too many enemies? Is this not enough? And I suppose you could always add to it if you feel like it wasn't quite enough. You could add more enemies to it. But you can do anything with this. I think there's 9 scenarios in the main book. But then again, you could make, this is only 4 map tiles. They have scenarios that are 8, that are 9. You can make a giant board out of this and, make up some scenario that your whole team's captured and one guy's got to go break them all out or something like that. Or a whole team of guys is coming in to assassinate a leader or something like that. There are a couple other characters it comes with here that we haven't actually played yet. This guy has got a med kit. He's got a rifle as well that can attack 16 away at a 4. That's pretty good. Cool. And then we've got this guy here that's got a bear trap, a machine gun, and a plastic explosive. Very cool. It looks like hits on a 2+. That I don't know if that's remote detonation. Ooh, man, it's got 6 dice you roll for that. That's big time. Whenever you detonate something, there is a blast marker here that shows you, I think this is 9 squares. So you hit the blast marker and bam, you hit all these guys here or, wherever you want to put that. And when they get hit by the grenade, they're almost toast. There's no way to survive from that. So they do give you lots of options to use with these guys. Another cool thing is you flip these over and they have Patty 2. Which is basically a different loadout for this guy. And it's not hugely different. Let's see what he's got here. Oh, so here's the bear trap. Here he's got like is that a mine or something? I don't know what that is. But on the back, gives you a slightly different loadout for each guy. And again, it's simple enough that you have this little card to use to show your different weapons and puts a couple of tokens on here. Oh, it does look like a landmine. Put a couple tokens on. but also gives you lots of options to do. I mean, you have a ton of different things you can do with this little card and this map setup. So that's the thing I think is the coolest about the game, is the possibilities that you have as far as what you can do with it. Even once you play the 9 scenarios, there's so many different cool things that you can do with this game. There's a bunch of different enemies that it comes with, and the box organizer it comes with is pretty good. I mean, there's not very many compartments here, and some of these are kind of mixed in, but I just kind of dumped some of the tokens in here for some of the infantrymen. So these are like the special forces guys here. You don't want to run into them. They're big trouble. Regular riflemen here. These are all your heroes over here. And just different decks of cards. You can use a different deck. If you want different event cards, you can try a different deck. These are the vehicles I was talking about. There's like motorbikes, supply drops, all kinds of extra vehicles and stuff in there that you can use. And one thing that's really cool is you take this insert out of here, and you've got a bunker that's actually playable. This is like a bunker scenario. Oh, one of the guys fell out of there. A couple of them did. You've got a bunker scenario that you can play here. You can go inside this, and maybe they're having a meeting at this desk over here, and you go take some guys out or something. It's very cool. You can play the inside of this box. So just stick that thing back in there, and I'll put those guys away later. But again, on the back of this, they have line of sight rules reviewed. So if you forget line of sight, you can just flip this reference card over, and it kind of gives you an idea on who can be seen and who cannot be seen, who's partially covered. Also the rules for some of the vehicles as well. But this is really all you need once you read the rules, just to kind of go through the phases and the things that you can do. These are the things you can do while you're crouched. These are the things you can do while you're carrying something. These are going to be the operator attack modifiers and the enemy attack modifiers. And then all the enemies are down here. And so again, you can see the rifleman here, just the basic. The infantry get to roll 2 dice, so that's big trouble. Officers get to roll 2, and their rolls get better. Mortar team gets to be big trouble. The half truck is armored, so you can only defeat it with explosives. Lots of really, really cool possibilities with this game. Again, SAS Rogue Regiment, if you haven't seen this game, go check it out. There's several how to play videos, intro, how to play, and I think the creators, again, this is from the creators themselves, have gone through the first, I think, 2 or 3 scenarios. They'll play through them, just kind of show you what the characters are capable of here. Again, I do all these videos with no script. I hope I'm not leaving anything out. If you have any rules, questions, or anything and that you're wondering about, just put them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. If you haven't seen this game, go check it out. If you have, let me know what you think, and if you played it. Favorite things about the game, again, very, very cool. I will show you this. This is the scenario book here. So again, first scenario here where you're rescuing Anders from this building over here. This is the one that we're on now. And you can see this is only 4 map tiles. The next one here is also 4. And then we're going to get to 6 map tiles here. So it gets a little bit bigger. And then there's further scenarios with 9, 8, and 9 map tiles. Just a ton of really cool possibilities and maps that you could create with this game. And again, there's like 2 or 3 other expansions for it that give you like a submarine. One of them has a plane that can come in, like air support, and drop rockets and take guys out. Just a ton of cool things. And another thing that I really like about it, another hidden movement game that I've played is Core Space, which I really enjoy that game as well, but it's kind of fiddly to set up all the walls and everything. If you played that game, there's a lot of little walls you have to clip together, and it takes forever to set them all up. This game you can set up in like 10 minutes. You get the boards out, slide them together, or put a little piece of tape on the back if you want them to stick together. Everything is a token. And so there's no walls. I get it. The 3D stuff is a little more immersive and kind of fun to play with. But, man, you get those 3D miniatures, and you feel like you got to paint them all, and they don't look cool. And these are just so easy to be like, oh, alerted. You flip him over, flip him back over. He's not alerted anymore. In fact, I think once you're alerted, you're stuck. I don't think they can become unalerted. But flipping the tokens over or replacing the token with the scuba token is really easy to do. And so the ease of playing the game is another thing that really attracts me to it is with these tokens, you just drop them all on the board. Again, it shows you right where to put them all, right where to put all the enemies. Sometimes in scenarios, they'll add a couple more enemies to it, and they'll show you where to put those on the board just to make it a little bit more difficult. But the tokens make it great to play because everything's flat. There's nothing to knock over or anything like that, as long as you tape your boards together. We tried little clips. We tried little binder clips, and they kept sliding off, and they made little marks on the board. So we're like, let's not use those. But we were trying to find a way to keep the boards together, and the blue tape was the best way. I guess you just probably have to be really careful when you're peeling it off. You don't tear the paper off of the boards themselves. But I'd love to hear what you think about the game. Again, if you have any rules questions, let me know in the comments. Guys, when you're out there and you're not playing games, think about difficult situations where all the odds are against you and you don't know what to do as an opportunity for you to get some experience and some training that will be a benefit to you in the future. And so something like that comes up. I think about my job and I think about all the headaches I had to deal with, but how much it's prepared me for stuff that was to come that I didn't even know about. So flip that narrative in reverse, and instead of getting stressed out about that and thinking, why me? Why is this happening? I don't want to deal with this situation. Think about it as an opportunity to grow and become stronger and become better. That's what our lives are all about, is progress. And so hopefully that's what we're focused on. Hey, thanks so much for watching, guys, and be heroes out there, play games, have a good time, and you guys take care.